Just like that, it just aired up a fairly low tire. These are the necessities of doing a road trip with a vintage British car. Enjoy. All right, so I figured it's about time I do a video with a vintage car. I'm a little overdue on that. And I've been thinking about it a lot because I just spoke to a gentleman at the grocery store when I was in the MG. In regards to his first question is like, you must be working on that all the time, or aren't you scared to drive that to the grocery store? And I like really hit me. That is a majority of the public has the idea that these just break down all the time and that they're incredibly unreliable and nobody would ever take the chance of doing a road trip in one. And to be honest, it seems like it's leaning towards that direction the more I talk to people that are genuinely curious about these old British cars. Now, I'm not saying all British cars are super reliable, and I think there is some truth behind the unreliability of certain British cars. However, there are also a multitude of make and models that came out of England that are phenomenal. This, especially with the incredible 1275, in my opinion, is one of the best combinations or pairings, I would say, to come out of England. It's absolutely a bulletproof, reliable engine, and it's amazing. I'm going on nearly 11 years with this car. It's never been in the back of my mind, oh, I don't trust this car. I trust this car everywhere I go. But I figured I'd do a video on, maybe it would shed some light on, yes, you can do road trips with these cars and other vehicles, and these are kind of the essential checklists of items that you should bring with you on these road trips, because it'll kind of either make or break and give you a much greater chance of getting to your destination by simply just bringing certain items along on this trip. We do easily 400 to 800 miles on some of these road trips that we do with these vintage cars. In fact, we have an amazing event that I love every year where we drive it, I'm not kidding, excuse me as this airplane flies over the Continental Divide. You're talking 12,000 feet of elevation, and we're pushing these cars to the max. And you would think, oh, well, that's gonna break down. That car's not gonna make it to its destination, let alone get you back home in one piece. Never once has this left me stranded on any of those trips. So it's incredible how much and far you can drive these vehicles with very little work, if any. But there is an essentials list that I would advise anybody that has a vintage MG, but even if you have other vintage cars, these are lists that pertain to all those items of ensuring that you get to your destination, and there really are simple things that could really make or break your road trip. So let's do a little walk around. We'll get into detail of things that actually work for these road trip essentials, is what we'll break it down. So if you've not seen this car, this is my 71 MG Midget. This is the round arch version. They had a square arch version as well. I've had this car in my collection for a very long time. Like I said, 11 years plus, could actually be almost 12 years. In all those years of ownership, I've only been left stranded once, and honestly, it was kind of a given. The clutch failed and the pedal just went to the floor and it wouldn't drive. Of all the other times I've had this, it has always got me to my destination. But when I do really long road trips that are putting me in very remote locations, meaning that there is not going to be a mechanic on site or anybody that I could essentially get to fix this car, I have an essentials list. And to me, that Cessna just locked the brakes. It's essential to me to bring these items. So we're going to go through the most important things and kind of break it down. Number one, tools. Tools are the most important thing that you could bring on these. And I don't mean just like a generic set, like bring a good set of sockets, a good screwdriver set, anything that will help you get off items on this vehicle that you would need to take off. A basic toolkit will take you so far. Number two, a jack. Yes, this came with a factory jack, and yes, it does work. It's a crank and it goes in those slots on the side, but there are better versions and they don't take up much room. And if you need to jack up both sides, I think bringing another jack for your road trip is essential. All right. Number three, now I'm going to give this company a shout out because they've sent me this product. I've used it a multitude of times, not even just for this, but for the big stuff. And it really is a lifesaver, in my opinion, for getting to your destination or leaving you unstranded from a situation that could potentially make you have to be towed. And grab it out of here. This is the Gulu A5. And you're probably wondering what's in this case. This is the jack of all trades when it comes to two necessities that I think every vintage car owner, especially these old British cars, should take with them. When you're in a remote spot, there's two things that you need that could potentially leave you stranded. Air in your tires, and if you have a dead battery, getting it jump started. Well, this thing amazingly does that. And I'll give you some information on how this thing works. So, it's probably the fanciest system that I've actually dealt with. It is a 4,000 amp jump starter and 160 psi tire inflator. So it literally does both things that you want. It's touchscreen. You have every mode here that you need to do. You essentially plug your jump start cable right here, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then if you need to actually air it up, the air compressor is built into this as well. I originally was just bringing jumper cables, and I'm not saying you shouldn't bring jumper cables. Jumper cables are good, but this takes care of jumper cables because you don't need the option number two that's required with jumper cables, a second vehicle. This does everything you want, and 4,000 amps. I mean, this will jumpstart this with a quarter of that requirement. So this will do some pretty big stuff, including the Land Rover with the big V8. Any high requirement of juice, this will take care of. It's quite impressive. So I'll show you the connections that it has. If I can get this to not move. I mean, so it comes with a great little case. So here's the tire inflator, just your basic connection. Goes right into the top, right here, just like that. Very simple. You just choose the option for the tire inflator. I think that's absolutely crucial. I would also advise bringing a can of slime. You'd be surprised on these old tube tires that are, you know, I mean, you're talking nearly 60 years old. Tubes are great, but they're also not great, and I have had several that leak. And a slime will go a long ways. This also has jumper cables. It plugs directly into this, and I'm telling you what, this will absolutely save your bacon when I've been in a situation where it is 30 degrees out, you're freezing cold, your battery is dead because it sat overnight, it's weak, not enough to crank it over. You have two options. You can either bump start this, which better hope there's a hill near, or you need jumper cables. This, by this company, completely takes care of all those issues in one. Inflated tires and your car jump starts. So I will post down in the link to get one of these if you're interested. They're priced amazingly well. This is beyond proven itself in a multitude of uses, including jump starting the motorcycle. So I always keep this in the back of this when I do a road trip. Check them out. All right, moving on to what else is necessary for road trips with these vintage cars. A lot of basic things, well, I guess covered, is tools, jack, spare tubes wouldn't hurt, but this comes with a spare tire, so that's not really a big deal. When it comes to the motor stuff, the most important thing that I've always found that would get you out of a situation where you don't have to get towed. That's the whole objective of these, is to not have to be towed, but to be simply fix the issue with the items that you brought so you can get back on the road. For me, fuel filters are a big thing to bring. Stuff breaks down, fuel filters get plugged up, they crack, they break, it can get you out of a situation. Fuel lines are another massive thing that I absolutely recommend bringing. It's cheap. Go to O'Reilly's, buy 3 feet, 4 feet of it, put it in the trunk. You always will have extra fuel line. You'd be surprised how many situations happen where your fuel lines are leaking, and that is a potential fire hazard. Simple fix would happen if you had spare fuel line. As well as the engine goes, motor oil is one of the most crucial aspects I always bring extra of. You can spring small leaks on these, and if you have enough oil, it can get you to your destination without causing catastrophic damage. I always bring a gallon of oil, and I also always bring 2 gallons of coolant. 2 vital things that are absolutely necessary. And anytime I'm doing a road trip longer than 250 miles with this car, well, those 2 I absolutely are on the top of my list. Other things that a lot of people don't think about, hose clamps, like metal hose clamps, those are pretty crucial, I think, and they can be super helpful in times where you need something fails or you need to clamp something down. I always bring several sizes, the small, the medium, and the large. Extra coolant hoses, you never know. It would take 5 minutes to replace and you're back on the road instead of waiting for the tow truck. Another thing that people often miss, and it seldomly ever fails, I actually have not experienced a failure on that, but it's just cheap insurance to bring, is on the actual engine itself, the cap and rotor, what you'd use for the ignition. Cheap, you're talking 15 bucks for a cap and rotor, and if one ever fails or it burns up, once again, a 5-minute fix. The whole objective of these is super simple fixes that are less than 30 minutes to get you back on the road so you can continue your road trip. None of us ever really want to be towed to a mechanic shop, and then you're sitting there burning up days and time that you could be utilizing for the road trip itself because you just didn't have the items that could essentially got you out of that scenario. I call these 5-minute fixes because they're common things to fail, but they're easy things to fix if done right. When I say cap and rotor fail, not really. It's pretty rare. Also, ignition coil. I think that's, once again, cheap insurance, 20 bucks. Extra belts. Once again, I've not broke one, bring it. You can even go to as far as bringing a spare thermostat. Once again, cheap insurance. That's the whole objective of this, is items that are easily changed out, but can easily be high wear items in a vehicle like this. The last thing you want is being in BFE, Egypt, and you know, those items rupture and you're stuck there, and even leaving the car behind because there is not a tow service. Mechanically, these are amazing cars, and internally they seldomly ever break. The transmissions are bulletproof, the drive lines are bulletproof. Another valuable thing that I always say, because I tend to leak it in the early stages of owning this, is a big bottle of .3 brake fluid, because it serves both the brake system as well as the clutch system. It will save your bacon if you ever have a leak or spring a leak. In my opinion, those are the big things, you know, that I would say that can make easy fixes and get you back on the road. Other things that are like more substantial is like, we have people like, well, bring an extra clutch. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you're gonna be doing a clutch change on the side of the road. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm not. That would vouch to be towed if I had to do that. So those are, in my opinion, the basic items that one should always bring that kind of gets them on the road safely. Being if it always fails when we least need it, breakdowns happen at night if you're driving at night. A really good light, flashlight, even a magnetic headlamp, magnetic light or a headlamp will make your life a lot easier than using what we commonly use. There's a cell phone light. It just doesn't work that way. And then a lot of smaller things like fuses, you know, we commonly forget about that, or zip ties. Even stuff that you wouldn't think of it, like baling wire. I broke exhaust hangers and I needed a muffler shop to repair that, and I was 100 miles away from the nearest muffler shop that could do that fix. Simple baling wire got my vehicle and the muffler back up in the spot that I needed, held all the way to my destination, and bought me extra time to fix the issue at bay. So Those, in my opinion, are the substantial necessities of taking your vintage car on a long road trip and not having the fear of whether this is going to get me to my destination. Now, this is all on the premise that your vehicle is running good and things are actually dialed in. If your carbs are leaking fuel, they're not running right, you're pissing oil everywhere, so the car is not itself dialed in, and then you're packing all this stuff and say, I'm gonna do a road trip, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for probably a tow. But if your car is actually dialed in, runs great, the big things like not overheating, not leaking fuel, it's dialed in for the environment that you're going to put it through, bringing those essentials will essentially guarantee that you will make it to your destination. Obviously, fluke things happen. You know, I've been lucky, but we've had friends that have like blown up their transmissions because stuff happened, or oil pumps fail on certain vehicles. But for the most part, I don't ever want somebody to have the idea that I would never take my vintage car on a road trip because I'm worried it's going to leave me stranded. This has never left me stranded, except once, and that was with a clutch, and who knows how old that clutch was. It might have even been the original. You got to give the car some sort of credit for lasting as long as it has. So if you have any questions, like I said, that amazing jump pack with the air compressor by Gulu, the A5, phenomenal. I'll post down in the link. It's just it's an absolute necessity, in my opinion, for a road trip, or just to have in a vehicle as a spare. And all those other items as well, you can get from Moss. I'll post in a link of usually the website that I use to get parts for like these old MGs. But this pertains to almost any vintage car. I use this mindset for the old motorcycles, for Stevie's Bug, for the old Mercedes. It pertains to all of it. It will literally get you to your next destination, most likely by simple items that you brought along on your, what I call the essential road trip bucket or box. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you got any questions, post down in the comments. And seriously, get a vintage car, go do a road trip. You won't regret it. At least most of the time you won't.